What is up, you guys? Welcome back, because this is number 3. Today somebody was actually asking me about how I got my skin to look so soft, which is really funny because I always have really dry skin, borderline eczema with rosacea. So that was a super big compliment for me, but I thought I would film a little video on how to actually get my skin, or how I get my skin to look really soft and get that sort of nice dewy finish without being oily. I tend to not use a whole lot of matte products, but I actually am using one today. So, click that subscribe button if you want to see more, and keep on watching. So first thing I like to do is I like to exfoliate my face, which I've actually already done, but I have a very high skin cell turnover, which means that my skin dies faster. So everyone's skin dies at a different rate. How many times a week you exfoliate is really personal to you, and how often you feel that you need to exfoliate. You never want to over exfoliate too many times. I'd recommend, like for my skin, usually 4 times a week is the max of what I'll do. Some people it could be as low as once a week. I'd never recommend more than 4, but if you need it, you need it. After exfoliating, I like to go in with my MAC Moisture Infusion Serum. So it's that one. And I like to just smooth that all over my face, and it really gives you, it starts you off with a really nice moisturized base. Ooh. So I like to get it mostly where I get a lot of dryness, so that would be around my nose and in my chin area. Ooh. I've also already done my eyebrows, by the way, because each girl has struggle brows, so they take me about 1,000,000 friggin' years. So after that's like completely dried into your skin, I like to give it a second to just set itself, let the product really sink into your skin and do what it's supposed to do, which is moisturize. Then I like to go in with a primer. So I really like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus primer. That one. And I like to just take it all over my face. I like that it's a silicone-y primer, but it's not like too silicone-y. So it'll fill your pores while also being like hydrating and smoothing. And I like to take about a pea-size amount, maybe a little bit more. And then I just do the same thing that I did with the serum and smooth that all over my face, really pressing it into the skin around my nose and my problematic pore areas. I like that it feels really like tacky, and you can feel it like smoothing out your skin, and it's really great for like $4. Just do it. Just go buy it. You can buy it like anywhere, Walmart, not Shoppers, because Shoppers doesn't carry Wet n Wild, Walmart, or online. So after it's smoothed in, it has a really like silky texture. Like you'll notice your skin feels really soft. So after letting that sink in really well, when we go in with foundation. So I like to use 2 different kinds of foundation because I really like to mix them. I like to use a stick and then go over it with a liquid, because it gives you that extra coverage where you need it, but it also gives you the ability to kind of customize your foundation finish. If you like a more matte finish, then you can go in with 2 mattes, but for me, for really dry skin, a lot of times I'll go in with a dewy and a matte, because it gives you a nice satin finish that's not too matte and it's not too dewy, that you look like you're just caked in grease. I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever foundation stick because I like this one. I like it. It gives you a really nice dewy finish. Down to the nub. That's it, guys. That's all. But I just like to put this on my face where I need a little bit extra coverage, which is just mostly on my cheek area and then just kind of around here. I get breakouts right along my jawline. So then I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. I think this is the Beautifully Bare foundation. The e.l.f. one comes in this little glass bottle. And I'm in Light Ivory. Oh, the shade in the Makeup Forever foundation stick was Y225 because I have a really yellow undertone, by the way. So I take probably, I'd say, like 2 pumps to start on the back of my hand. And then, this is my secret. This is how I get my really dewy finish. This is for you dry skin motherfuckers out there. I take marula oil. So this is the Drunk Elephant one. You could really use any marula oil. They're kind of all the same. This was just Sephora samples, so you know, might as well use it. But I take a pump of this and mix it in with my foundation. And then I will take the end of a brush and mix them together on the back of my hand. And then drop it on my face. So then I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and just start buffing that in and stippling over top of the stick foundation. Really get it blended in. The thing I like about this foundation is you can put a lot of layers on without it looking cakey. Everybody loves those concealer lips. I always like to put an extra layer over my cheeks. So I'll usually just put 1 layer on my forehead and 2 kind of on my cheeks, because my cheeks have hyperpigmentation, which makes them very, very red, and it'll show through my foundation if I don't. Make sure we blend it down our necks, because nobody wants a crusty line. When in doubt, blend it out. Now that we're all blended in, pretty seamless, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape foundation in the shade Fair Neutral. I'm going to apply it to all the places that we want to highlight. So it's going to be down our nose, forehead, chin, and Cupid's bow smile line area. You just want to take a little bit. We don't want our forehead to look like fucking outer space. I always do my under eyes separate from my chin forehead area, just because I like to make sure that my chin and my forehead are really blended out, and by the time I do that, generally my concealer has already started to dry and it's a little harder to blend out, so I just like to take my time and really make sure everything's blended. Might take a little longer, but it's definitely gonna look a hell of a lot better. Now I'm going to take the concealer under my eyes. So I'm going to make sort of an upside down triangle shape. And spread it out right along there. The usual spots, you know. Put it on a triangle. Oh, that was scary. Alright, now we're going to go ahead, starting with the inner corners and blending outwards. White. It's okay. I'm only gonna look white for a little bit until we toss some contour on there. Next, I'm gonna go in with my setting powder, which seems a little funny to go in with something that's supposed to make it look drier. We take our damp beauty sponge, and the water in that is really gonna help. I use the e.l.f. HD powder, and I'm just gonna take it on my beauty blender and just really press it in underneath my eyes. And this is going to help keep us from creasing, because nobody likes a creasy woman. I usually go in with a little bit of powder and really press it in really well, and then I go back in and bake after I don't like to go in and bake straight away because I find it makes my under eyes look really crusty. And we don't want that. We don't like crusty under eye. Now we're gonna go in and ooh, she's a white. Start baking our under eyes. Then I'm gonna go in and use whatever's left on my beauty sponge and really just press it into those places that we put our concealer on. Also places that you may get oily. I don't have that problem. So. Alright, now I'm just gonna go in and bake my smile lines because your girl got an overbite, so concealer likes to sit right up in there. This is a good look. This is a good look. I look like a little Chinese man. Oh, Fu Manchu. I want to take the rest of that excess powder and I'm really just going to press it into the parts of my cheek that are dewy, and that's going to lay as kind of almost a transition shade for our cheeks. It's also going to set them so we don't remove any of the foundation or anything that we just laid down. I'm going to press in my smile line bake. Leave my under eyes cook for a little bit longer. I'm going to wipe some of this crusty makeup off my lip. Look, she has lips. Now, after all that setting, we're going to go in with some bronzer. I'm going to use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in Bronzer. We're just going to use this to warm up our cheeks because we're looking a little ghostly. What I like to do is I like to focus on where this little, this little part of my ear is. And I like to come down from that, and that's usually a good indicator of where your cheekbone is, you know? I like to take it in small little circular motions, moving in an upward sort of motion. And bring it all the way down, only to about here. And that's going to serve as our bronzer and base contour. You're going to always want to make sure you brush it up into your hairline. Blending it in with your hairline is very important. Looks a little harsh and crazy now. Trust me. We'll fix it. Always gonna want to make sure you bronze the forehead right up into that hairline. Now on a Morphe Y9, I'm gonna take my e.l.f. contour palette and this shade, nope, that shade right there. She's been used and abused. I'm just gonna take it and use it just underneath the bronzer to really give it that nice chiseled cheek effect. I'm gonna go in really soft kind of circular motions, the same motion we used to put on our bronzer. Just blending it upward into that bronzer. Then I like to take that same brush with no product that we use to put our bronzer on, and I like to use it to sort of blend them both together. Get that seamless blend. Now, we're going to take that same translucent powder on our damp beauty sponge. We're going to just carve out our cheek. Just draw a line where you want your contour to cut off, you know? Really chisel out that cheek. Now on a Morphe Y11, I'm going to just dust off that under eye bake. I don't want it to be too baked because it will cling to my dry patches underneath my eyes. Alright. While we're baking, I'm going to apply some blush. I'm using the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. And I don't like to put my blush on the apples of my cheek right here. I find that it gives that flushed look, and that's pretty much what I just spent 25 minutes trying to cover up. I like to apply it just above my bronzer and contour, in between the highlight and the bronzer, because I like it. It just gives it that nice blend to it. Very light. You always want to use a really light hand with blush because you don't want to look like fucking everyone and Aunt Greta. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Don't worry. If you go too heavy-handed with your blush, you can just take the clear end of your beauty sponge and just really dab over it. And it'll really diffuse that blush and give you a nice cheek. Alright, now I'm going to dust away that powder. Just blend it in. Right there. Alright, now I'm going to go in with some highlighter. Just highlight that cheek. Right along that cheekbone. Give it a really nice glow to it. I like to use golden highlighters because they really give the skin a nice glow to it, and they make you look much tanner. Give you that, I'm a bronze goddess kind of look, because that's what everybody's going for. Oh, and I'm using a Y13 by Morphe. We're just gonna do the tip of our nose, down our nose, our upper lip, and I like to take it right above the eyebrows here, courtesy of Jeffree Star and his no eyebrow game, because it really makes the light reflect off of your forehead in those certain parts. It gives your face that extra, gives it a little extra something, something. I'm sorry, I can't stop highlighting. So that's where our skin is at right now. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do my eyes off of camera, and then I'll be right back to show you the final steps. Alright, so this is the final look. Yellow, browny, something or other, yeah. So the last and final step is setting spray. Now this is really important because it's going to help melt your powder in with your skin and give you that really skin-like dewy finish. So I like to use a dewy one. So the Tatcha Dewy Mist is a really, really good one. However, it is very expensive, so a more budget-friendly option is the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. It gives you sort of the same effect, slightly less dewier, but I'm just going to go ahead and set our face with that. Now I always like to go in with 2 different setting sprays because, the more the merrier. So I'm going to go in with the Cover FX, the illuminating one. My pump actually broke, so it's in this L'Oreal bottle, but it's not Cover FX. Alright, just like that, you have some really dewy, glowing, healthy looking skin. So this is definitely not what I would recommend for oily skin. However, this is really good for anyone else who is super, super dry like me. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to get this dewy, fresh looking face. and make sure you like and subscribe. And then follow me on all of my social medias. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.